I first met him when I was a freshman in high school. When I was 18 years old and a junior in high school, I was planning on graduating early so that I could do an internship in Washington, D.C. At the same time, my boyfriend received orders to join the military and move overseas, so we decided to marry and forego my internship. So we married the week after my junior prom. It was a big, lovely wedding. Our family was dissatisfied with our decision, but they knew we were going to go ahead with it anyhow, so they supported us. I traveled 5 states away after school ended that year to be with him for 3 months while he finished his training. I realized I needed a divorce by the end of the 3 months. While I was with him, I discovered that he had cheated on me with a girl in his unit during our engagement. I also found him online flirting with girls and attempting to set up meetups. To these women, he lied about everything. Before he joined the military, he mistreated me badly. In front of everyone, he called me stupid. He got physical on a regular basis. His friends and family were stunned by the change. His mother even advised me to leave him. But if I divorced him, where else could I go? During a vacation, he came home and addressed me privately that he understood he had treated me badly, that he had been unfaithful to me. He admitted he had been physical with me and treated me like crap. I was shocked. In disgust, I stepped back from him. I didn't want to have anything to do with him. I was still hoping for a divorce. Immediately, I needed to get away from the terrible decision I'd made to marry him. That was everything I'd wished for since I realized my error on the way to the reception that evening. That was the first time in a year that I had made the proper decision. No, we're done. He went back to our friends and family this time, blaming everything on me. He claimed to be heartbroken over the whole situation in order to attract other women, including my friends, who I'm grateful for. So, what exactly did I have to say? I couldn't turn around now and tell the truth about him cheating and looking for women online while married, even girls, during his military service since I didn't have any proof. As a result, I simply accepted things as it was. There was a lot of looking and whispering from old classmates. My father did not look me in the eyes. I was ashamed of myself. I cried because I was afraid and 19 years old. I allowed everyone to believe his tale that I had slept with so many strangers. No one was standing by my side. I felt desperate after everything he had done, and now he treated me even this way. To avoid all the gossip behind my back, I moved to Washington, D.C. and started a new life there, taking my internship again. Many people have told me I ran away from my problems. Well, the thing was, I was young and weak. I wasn't able to do more, and rumors were hard to shut down. Luckily, I got the internship, and people treated me quite nice, and the manager even let me sleep in the storage room after a few weeks staying in the car. It was better, to be honest. However, I couldn't forget every memory that my ex-husband had. It was traumatizing. I had to live with those memories for nearly 10 years. I'm 29 years old now, and last year I got married again, and my husband now loves me more than anyone in the world, bless him. We had a baby together and became a normal but happy family. After a few therapy sessions, I could move on. But my husband and family never mentioned my ex-husband's name again. My father told me 3 months ago that he had gotten a new girlfriend named Sarah. I was thrilled for him because he had been depressed since my parents' divorce. It was about time for him to go on and find new happiness. They met through Tinder, by the way, and recently met each other. I couldn't believe my dad knew how to use it, but I guess when you are desperate for love, dating apps are the only thing you could fall for. Things were going well, and I would love to meet Sarah one day. However, he then dropped a massive bombshell. He said that Sarah was moving in with us since she couldn't afford to pay for rent and go to college at the same time. My jaw hit the floor. What do you mean, college? When I asked my father how old Sarah was, he told me she was 21. 21? I'm 23 years old. What type of father would date a girl who's younger than his own daughter? I was concerned, but I kept my mouth shut. After all, who am I to tell my father how to spend his life? Love doesn't matter the age, right? Sarah arrived at our house the next day with a large luggage. When my father answered the door, they instantly began kissing. Sarah had her hands on my father's body, and I had to look away because it was so disgusting. Ugh. After they had finished, Sarah took a look at our home and said with a little bit of a disgusted tone, "Yeah, I guess it's okay for now." Wow, what the hell? What was that attitude? "I'm so grateful your dad takes care of me," she told me the next day during dinner. "I could never work and go to school at the same time. You know how difficult college is." This enraged me since when I was in college, my dad pushed me to find a part-time job in order for me to pay his rent. He claimed it was for the purpose of developing his character. I never complained since I knew my father was in a lot of debt, and I wanted to help him out. After dinner, Sarah began talking about how my father had purchased her a new $15,000 SUV, and I lost all respect for him. Couldn't he understand? That she was simply for his money. She was unpleasant, self-absorbed, greedy, and unquestionably a gold digger. I hope my father could see her for who she truly was and quit her, but it was evident she was going to stay. There was also the time when she wore my shirt. I wanted to scream at her, but I kept my cool. I explained to her, that's the clothing I'm wearing. Wear it today if you like, but I need it back and I'd really appreciate it if you wash it beforehand. But all she did was chuckle and say, "This old rag? I should have guessed it was yours. Your dad would never buy me something so cheap." Ugh! She dislikes me as much as I dislike her. And I'm quite sure she used my costly high-end body lotion and shampoo, which I got online. She acted as if my father's apartment belonged to her. I told my father several times that Sarah is a gold digger, but he didn't believe me and spent all of his time with her instead of me. People's minds are blinded by love. I wish he could see it for himself one day. I moved out since I couldn't stand living with Sarah and my fool dad. However, their relationship continued for another 6 months, since my dad found out she had 15 Max credit cards under his name and the debt went over $50,000. That was when my dad could open his eyes and break up with that mean gold digger. But I still didn't move back to his house. I was living all good by myself. I stayed on the south side of California with my mother, father, and brother. We were all staying happily together. Every day we walked to school. I liked school, even if I was bullied occasionally, but I returned home to my ideal family, or so I thought. My father had always been the perfect father. We always had a good time together and made things together. It was great, until it wasn't. Due to COVID-19, my dad's company was bankrupt. There was nothing much they could do, so my family had to suffer a financial crisis, and my dad seemed depressed about it. He wasn't like the father that I used to know. When I returned home one day, he was drinking and smoking with his friends. I was shocked. This wasn't the father I'd known and loved all my life. A few weeks later, he was playing a game. I came to see since he said it was for kids, but it wasn't. There were a lot of things that were inappropriate. He warned me that if I alerted Mom, I'd be in big trouble. As a result, I kept my mouth shut. He'd always play the game, and he'd make my brother and me watch it. This wasn't the father I'd grown up with. I wanted to tell my mother, but he arrived first, discovered what I was up to, and threatened me that I'd end up in a lot of trouble. He made me watch things I wasn't supposed to watch and know things I wasn't supposed to know. It stressed me out and made me depressed. It made me feel uneasy on the inside. It frightened me. He made an attempt to harm me. When my mother was away, he did things he shouldn't have done. Things that may put you in prison for the rest of your life. I couldn't say anything though. I didn't want to get into any more trouble. Finally, my father went to work one day. If I tell, he'll get it, quote, kept running through my thoughts over and over again. But I felt I needed to tell my mother, so I did. I informed her of the situation. "What?" she exclaimed. As a result, she approached my father. He said that was true, his face contorted with embarrassment. But then he changed his attitude and started threatening my mom. She couldn't call the cops because my father was abusive and threatened to take the children away if she did. As a result, she told my dad that she was going to take us to the doctor to ensure that we were in good health. My dad agreed, but he would take my mom's phone away and threaten to beat her to death if she called the police. When the doctor inquired why she came, she had to explain with tears in her eyes. The doctor was shocked. They were at a loss for what to do. As a result, they informed the police. The cops immediately showed up at my father's house and brought him away to court, where he had to attend. The trial was lengthy, but the evidence was a hospital report claiming that my brother and I had been harmed. When he was caught, he was also drunk. He was convicted and sentenced to prison. We are currently staying with my grandparents. My mother had to seek new employment and rearrange her life. My brother and I needed to transfer to a different school. However, things are a lot better now. We're all staying happily together, and we're glad we're not being abused, and that we're having a good time together. However, if you are ever abused, don't forget to defend yourself. Let no one continue to abuse you.